Welcome to Parenting Tips with Dr. Glow on the WDKX Podcast Network, where the conversation never stops. I'm reminding you that education is in my DNA, and as you all know, I'm a researcher. I'm a person who loves to read, but I also like to share, and that's kind of the purpose of this podcast. Not just for the sake of parenting, but also for self care. And parents, godparents, grandparents, aunties, uncles, significant adults in the lives of our children, especially educators, sometimes we don't value sleep as we should. We always stress it to our children like we stress exercise, and we stress the value of nutrition and balanced eating and things related to our physical and mental health. But sometimes we do not, and I'll include myself, do not value sleep as much as we should. I'd like to share with you that at the University of Rochester, which is a research institution, I am on their website quite a bit, that a neurologist by the name of Dr. Mecken Nettergaard, as well as other neuroscientists, did research. And in their research, they discovered that sleep has more value than simply restoring energy. Most of us want to restore our energy. We're fatigued, we're tapped out. Last night, as a matter of fact, I did a marathon. I was 7:30 a.m. to 9:30 p.m., and I was wiped out once I got upstairs to get ready for bed. If you think about the fact that we, as she shares, Dr. Niedergard shares, we're kind of like a car when we take our car in for a tune-up. Why do we do that? We do that so that the spark plug, well, now there's no spark plugs, but you understand what I'm saying. Older cars have them. But potentially engine oil, different fluids, all that kind of stuff, things are flushed out, things are cleaned so that our cars, trucks, whatever, will function as they should. So it should be our priority, is what they tell us, is to have actual sleep. So think about it, even with our children, the value of sleep. You know, when they get cranky and they miss their nap and you've been out all day, you're on vacation, it's summertime, maybe sleep doesn't happen as it should as it does during the school day. So they came to the conclusion that sleep cleans, and it will cleanse us from any harmful things. It will cleanse our brain. Think about that. Cleaning our brain? I mean, there are things we do to other vital organs in our body, but there's not much we can do on the medical side of things where they inject something or they do something to help with our brain. And of course, people are on different types of medication for memory and all of that. But the how can I say it? The value that they say is that when we're awake, we're doing things. Our brain is always in motion. Your child's brain is always in motion. But think about it. There's things circulating, and they call it I got to say it right. Most of us are familiar with lymphatic, but they call it glymphatic fluids that are floating around in our brain. I know I'm trying not to be as technical as their article was, but basically self-cleaning. What happens is there's a releasing and getting rid of bad materials. And when you're sleeping, it's like there's a rejuvenation. There's like a flushing of bad things within our brain. Think about that. bad things in our brain. So this discovery kind of started about 12 years ago in um, England. And one of the biggest things they found that sometimes we're processing information and we're holding it, and it can affect our ability to continue to function well if we don't sleep and allow restoration to happen. One of the people involved kind of broke it down to uh, the value of not burning out. Okay. Our brain burns a lot of energy, like our bodies when we're exercising, right? And so there are neurons that happen, and then our brain generally, the neurons are floating around. Those who are into science, you understand that. But you don't really have to understand all science related to this. And what he says is our glymphatic system has to clear the waste. In other words, what's happening in our brain has to clear any waste. And in that, it's essential for us to sleep. They have determined that Alzheimer's or dementia is the umbrella. Alzheimer's is one of the diseases under the dementia umbrella, but there's other types of diseases that are under dementia. But they let us know that that will reduce, and this is the number that kind of got me, by 30%, the impact of potential Alzheimer's. And so I know people take medications, and I know people are involved with all kinds of different things to help their brains. I know for me, I do all kinds of word puzzles and I do word searches, and I force myself to think beyond what's right in front of me and process things. And no matter what age, we want to be able to use our brains, whether it's the youngster who's manipulating a puzzle or it's an older person who's doing a variety of things to stimulate their brains. So, what is so important to me is also they talked about blood pressure. They talked about the value of being able to reduce the likelihood that head injuries like TBI, traumatic brain injuries, will be long term. And that kind of just piqued my interest for sure. And the value of that good night's sleep for adults as well as children will impact and help to transform any types of potential brain disorders later in life. Think about that. You mean my sleeping habits can impact my any brain disorders that may show up as I age, or will impact our children's health. And I think about CTE, which is definitely a brain injury that young people, young adults, and even later in life develop from playing sports. Watching the World Cup really made me think about my brain, and when I saw the ball being hit with the head, with football, the impact of those types of injuries. And I say to myself, I need to share this on the podcast. So that's what I'm doing today. Think about the value of sleep just normally to get your energy, but also beyond today, the long-term impact that it has. I would encourage you to visit the University of Rochester, their website, and it's rochester.edu, and take a look at that article about the value of sleep. Thank you for listening to Parenting Tips with Dr. Glow on the WDKX Podcast Network. Question: What is it that you can do, or what changes can you make to develop better sleep habits for both you and your children?